friends and Mavericks. Teddy LaRose here at Food Mavericks 1000, and today I'm going to do a little backstage Maverick for you. This is so you can get like a kind of in on some of the stuff we're doing at the course. And oh, I'm so excited about the course. It's set. So if you want to go join the team, you can find the info downstairs. Okay, here's the deal. We are going to review the blueberry cake that we did yesterday. And we're going to have fun doing it. Okay, here's the deal. By now, I should have remembered all about cake, right? However, we left our conference days and actually got a wonderful little RV, and we're traveling for over a decade in that thing. No oven, not really a proper space for that. It was a travel-oriented time. And so I hadn't been baking for a really long time, in my defense. However, you shouldn't forget these things, but you can. So here's the deal. The blueberry cake was fabulous. It really was. And it was very satisfying, kind of, rich there, and kind of substantial. However, I've been looking for that light and fluffy cake. I'm looking for my cake, And the thing is, there are a few tricks you'd like to know with cake. It's not as forgiving, and you need, when you look at a recipe, you'll see that it calls for one of those stand mixers or not. If it calls for a stand mixer, there's a reason behind it. So we tried to do it without a stand mixer, didn't really do it, because what you use the stand mixer for is to make it fluffy. You make the fat, which in that case is butter, and sugars real fluffy. And if you try and do that by hand, you'll be at it forever, and I'm just too impatient, so I didn't do it enough, and it wasn't very fluffy. Okay, there's that one thing. And then with that whole procedure, you do this elaborate, you add this, you add that, and if you've got a stand mixer, kind of works. I mean, this is like memories of childhood, how I used to make the cakes. However, there are other ways to make cakes, and it's mostly about proportion and chemistry, and so if you want a fluffy cake, how do you save yourself? I've tried a number, guys. It's not like I haven't tried. And they've all turned out that way. So I went back, did the research, and then started remembering what I used to do to make them light and fluffy. We did a real strong enterprise on making them light and fluffy, because a very close friend of ours said, when we gave her a trial, she said, "I hate dense, soggy cakes. It has stayed in my heart forever." And now I'm going to give you the tips. At the conferences, when I made cake, we never used butter. We used clarified butter. And butter is just its own magical animal. It changes things depending on its structure. So if you're using butter, it'll have a certain structure. If you clarify it, it turns into what they call ghee, and it's more like an oil. That is what we would use. So if you're using butter, it will tend to weight down your cake. The saturated fats will do that. The oils will tend to let it be lighter. So that's one thing I'm going to switch out. And another thing is that the kind of flour you use for this, if you use a flour that has more gluten in it, in other words, bread flour, over what they call pastry flour, what the difference between those two flours is simply one has more gluten in it and the other has less. And the gluten is what you do not want in a cake unless you want it sort of stretchy like bread. So I'm going to switch out, I got the stuff, to a pastry flour. That's another thing. And a whole other thing is what kind of, if you're adding a milk-based product, say, which we didn't at the time. We made vegan, magic, really famous cakes at the time. You can use something else, which we'll go into in other places. But sour cream, if you use sour cream or yogurt or one of those heavier dairy things, then it will make it heavier and kind of substantial. It gives a wonderful sort of rich thing. But if you want it lighter, if you're looking for a fluff, then you would use a lighter liquid like milk, buttermilk, water, etc. So those are a few of the tips that I would do next time. This is a critique, and I'm going to do it next time. And the people on the course, any of you who are watching this, you get it. Okay, so it's not that those were inedible or even awful. They were kind of great, but they weren't the fluffy I'm looking for. So we're going to do that test. Come on by to the, see us at the 1000s. Come on by, join up at the course.